everyone. So it's been a long time. I actually came on here to do an intro video with my face showing. So I thought to do that in today's video. So if this is your first time seeing my face, my name is Patricia Chidima. I'm a fashion tutor, an online fashion tutor. I'm a content creator. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a seller, whichever one you could call it. I want to say a big thank you to you all for always stopping by to watch my video, to encourage me by dropping your comments and also liking the video. I want to say a very big thank you to you all. We've hit 20k subscribers, and guys, I'm so impressed. Thank you all. So today's video is a very interesting one. It's a video on how to make this beautiful gown that I'm wearing in this video right here. And if this is what interests you, ensure to actually watch till the end. It's both the cutting and the sewing of this beautiful gown. So let's get started in the We'll start with drafting the pattern. So I came down by 1 inch from the edge of the paper to that line that I just marked there, which becomes the shoulder line. The measurement for this dress will be on the screen right here. And we're going to divide the paper now by 2. And what we have there is about 24.5. So I'm just going to divide it by 2, which is 12.25 inches. After ruling the line, this becomes the front part of this pattern, and this is the back part of this pattern. We'll start with drafting the front pattern, and this is the center front, and this becomes the side front for this pattern. So the shoulder to nipple point measurement is 10.5 inches. So I'll mark it there. Shoulder to underbust 14 inches, and to the waist 18 inches. I'll mark 5 inches from the waistline, which is 23 inches there. So I'll do the same thing on this other side, just the way I did earlier, and I'll roll it up in a straight line. So the shoulder measurement we're working with is 15 inches divided by 2, which will give us 7.5. I'll put it down there on the shoulder line. I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant. And the armhole measurement we're working with is 7 inches, and that is 36 divided by 6 plus 1 inch, which gives us 7 inches. So I'm just going to rule this out in a straight line. So from the center front, I'll come in by 3.5 inches and also go down by 3.5 inch, and I'll slant the shoulder. Then go ahead to connect the neckline, which I just marked. So to mark our armhole curve, I'll measure what we have there, which is 7 inches divided by 2 will give you 3.5. I'll come in by half inch there, and I'll extend the armhole line just the way I am doing here. So from the center front, I will come in by 9 inches, which is our round bust measurement, 36 divided by 4, which gives us 9 inches. So I'll connect the armhole curve to join with the 9 inches I marked there. So I'll go ahead to label these lines. This is the chest line, this is the bust line, and this is the under bust line. And the other one becomes the waistline. This is the extension. I'll call it the extension, but I won't label anything there. So from the center front, I'll come in by 4 inches, which is our nipple to nipple measurement, which is 8 inches divided by 2, which gave us 4 inches. So I'll mark it in a straight line. That is our dart line. So we're going to impute our dart. On the waistline, I'll come in by half inch on both sides and then connect it to the bust point, just like this, not directly to the bust point. And I'll also come up by 2 inches from that line or extension line and then connect it just like this. So the round waist measurement we are working with is 28 divided by 4, which will give us 7 inches plus 1 inch dart intake, which is 8 inches that I just marked there. So I'll connect it to the chest line. From the bust line, I'll come down by 1 inch to mark our side bust dart. I'll connect it to the nipple point just like this. I'll come in there by 2 inches and then connect it to the bust point. On the chest line, I'll mark half inches on both sides there and then connect it to the bust point. So depending on how deep you want your cleavage to review, I'll just come down here by 1 inch. You can go down by 1.5 inch, half inch, depending on your choice. And I'm just going to connect it this way. And I'll come down from that neckline by 1 inch. I'll also connect it like this. But before then, I need to tighten the underbust. So to do this, I'll measure what we have there, and the underbust we're working with is 29 divided by 4, which will give us 7.25 inch, and we have about 1 inch extra, and I'm just going to bring in half inch on both sides of the dart leg and connect it just like this. I'll also use my curve to connect it to the nipple point just like this. So I'll just cancel this like this so it can guide us while cutting, and I'm just going to connect this dart leg here to the 1 inch I marked from the neckline. So we need to shape the down part, and to do this I'm just going to come down from the waistline by 1 inch and I'll connect it to the line. And after doing this right here, I will just bring in the curve and I'll connect it right here to the extension, that's to that point there. So this is what I'll do, and after this right here we need to move to the back. So this is the center back and this becomes the side back. So from the shoulder line, I'll mark the waistline measurement, which is 17 inches for the back and also 8 inches for the chest line, and I'll extend 5 inches from the waistline, which is 22 inches. I will mark the same thing on this side. So the shoulder to waistline for the front is 18 inches and for the back is 17 inches. This is so because of the 1 inch side that we took in at the bust area. So I'll put in the shoulder measurement there, which is 7.5 inch, come down by 1 inch shoulder slant, and also put the shoulder measurement there just to extend the lines just this way that I'm doing. And after extending the line, I will mark 3.5 inch neck width and also mark 1.5 inch and slant the shoulder like this and then connect the neckline like this. So to get our armhole curve, I'll measure what we have there, which is 7 inches divided by 2, 3.5. I'll come in by half inch and also mark the bust measurement there to serve as a guide to connect the armhole curve, just the way I am doing right here. So the back won't be having any darts. So on the waistline, I'll just impute the true measurement, which is 28 divided by 4, which will give us 7 inches. And I'm just going to mark 7 inches there and connect it to the chest line like this. Then at the center back on the waistline, I'm just going to come in by half inch or 0.75 inch and just connect it like this. So from the waistline, I'll come down by 1 inch there and make it in a straight line before going ahead to connect it to the extension that we have for the back. And I'll just extend the line there to the extension downwards. I'll go ahead to add about 1.5 inch allowance on the side back. And this is our side back and this is the allowance for the back, and the other side is the zip area. So this is the waistline and this is the chest line. So we need to close up the bust dart, and I'm just going to fold it this way and match it up to the bust line, then use the masking tape to tape it down. After taping it down, I'll go ahead now to cut it out. So this is our back pattern and this is the center back, and I'll keep this back pattern aside and bring in the front. I'll go ahead to cut out the front. So as you can see, the front and the back side match each other. So this is the materials I'll be using for it. The black material is a Duchess fabric, while the pink material is a liquid Mikado fabric. So I'll go ahead to transfer my pattern to these fabrics. And this is it here. When I was done doing that, I added half-inch allowance around this area, and to the side I added 1.5 inch allowance. I also went ahead to cut out stay for the front, which will serve as our interfacing. I also cut out lining for the front, but to the back there won't be any lining. Cut that side on fold because that's where I want it to be. So work on the front first. I went ahead to iron the stay to it, and we're going to join it like this, and to this other side we're just going to join it like this. And this is the result when I was done joining. I had extra half-inch there because it was coming too high and I didn't want it too high. I'm just going to cut out the half-inch I added on the pattern there, and I make sure that the darts are matching each other, the dart or the notches I gave. are matching each other. So I'm just going to cut out the half inch there. So you can actually decide to leave the half inch there instead of cutting it out, just sew it up to the end. But I didn't want my keyhole neckline to be so up. I wanted it a little bit down. That's why I'm cutting out the half inch there. So after cutting this out now, I'll go ahead to press open the seam. And this is it here. When I was done pressing it open, I also did the same thing for the lining part. I used the same fabric as the lining for the front. I'll sew around the keyhole neckline and not the other neckline. So this is it here. When I was done sewing it, I'll go ahead to cut out the excess there and then notch it. So after notching it, I went on to turn it in out just like this, and I'm just going to top stitch there. So I'll open it like this and I'll top stitch it around that place all the way around the keyhole neckline. And this is it here. When I was done top stitching it, I went on to press it down just like this to give it a more relaxing look. And after this, I'm just going to sew around that area. I went on to top stitch it around the area just like this. So I brought in the black fabric I'm working with, which is about 1.5 inch, and I've already divided it in two. So the full length of the dress is 38 inches, and you can measure what we have there, 21, or you can just drop your waistline measurement to get the full length of the dress. So I will notch the center. I'll put it in two like this and notch the center, and after notching it there, I'm just going to bring in the front upper parts that we just made now, and I will also go ahead to put the notched part to match with the center of the front, just the way I am doing right here. I'll go ahead to make gathers and join the down part to the upper part of the front, and this is the final look when I was done doing this, and this is the inside part of it. At this point, you can go ahead to interlock it, that's to weave the dress. You can go ahead to start weaving it because the fabric is pulling out. So to the back part of it, I'm just going to unpin it, and since there is no lining for the back, no need to turn anything or top stitch anything. So I'll bring in the other black part of the dress, and I'm just going to notch the center as well. Like I'll just divide it in two, just this way that I'm doing. And after dividing it like this, one part is for one part of the back and the other part is for the other side of the back. So I'll just do the same thing I did for the front. I'll face it front facing front and make gathers on this side and also make gathers on this other side of the back. And after this is the look for the back when I was done doing the gathers. I'm just going to join it like this, front facing front, and make the zip allowance. Just use 1 inch to join there. Ensure that it's matching each other, like the joining there is matching each other before joining it. And this is the look when I was done doing the joining. I'll bring in the front and I'm going to join the shoulder area. To do this, I'll put it front facing the front part of the back and then use the front lining to turn it at the back. I'll secure it with my pins and then show you what it looks like. This is a look on the front part when I was done holding it with my pin. I'll go ahead to sew it, and this is it here when I was done sewing both sides of the shoulder. So before we join the dress side by side, we need to cut the sleeve, and this is the fabric that is remaining from the 1.5 inch of liquid Mikado that I used. I'm just going to fold it like this just to cut out a block form, and I'll trim off the excess or the extras I have around that area. So to cut the sleeve, I'll come in from that center by 6 inches. You know, is a bob sleeve. So I'm just going to come in by 6 inches and go down by 3 inches and then just connect it using freehand pattern. Just like this and cut it out. I'll go ahead to notch this center to serve as a guide while joining the sleeve. So I'll bring in the dress right here, and to the armhole area I'll bring in the sleeve, and on that notched part on the sleeve I'll put it to match up with the shoulder line, and then I'll do gathers or pleating around there. Then I'll do the same thing for the other side, and this is the final look when I was done doing all those things. And guys, it's time to join the dress side by side, but before doing that, please ensure to weave your dress before going ahead to join it. So you'll be using the allowance you gave for this dress to join it side by side from the sleeve to the down. And this is it here when I was done doing mine. I went on to weave it and also join it. Before we put the zip, we need to pipe the neckline. So to do this, I'll measure what we have there on the neckline, and it's giving us about 24 inches. So I'll go ahead to cut out a fabric that measures about 2 inches in width and more than 24 inches in length, and I'm just going to sew it this way from the back. I'll sew it first, then turn it into the front part, and this is it here when I was on doing all those things. Ensure to also iron it properly, and this is the zip I'll be using to put at the back, and also to the sleeve area I'll fold it inwards and pass the elastic inside. And this is the final look when I was done doing all this. I went ahead to put the elastic on the sleeve, and also to this other side I also went ahead to put the zip at the back and also hem the down part of this dress. Guys, our dress is ready. And this brings us to the end of the tutorial. If this tutorial was helpful to you, let me know in the comment section. It can alternate for other fabrics of your choice, but this is the one I chose for this tutorial. So guys, don't forget to like, share, comment, and see you all in my next video. Bye.